Well, hello there. Thanks for joining us. If you are planning to move to Canada as a permanent resident, then chances are you will need to show that you have sufficient funds to take care of yourself and your family once you arrive here in Canada. This is generally regarded as proof of funds or the requirement to show that you have the financial means. So we'll be talking much more about this after the break, so don't go away. Stay with us. And as always, remember to like this video so others may see more videos like this. Subscribe to our channel and check us out on our website at go.gooselaw.com. I'll be right back. Welcome back. My name is Donovan Francis and I'm a Canadian immigration lawyer, and I help skilled workers who are inside Canada and those who are outside Canada to become Canadian permanent residents without having to deal with all of the complicated immigration rules that are part of that process. Now, if you're planning to apply for Canadian permanent residency, one of the requirements that you will need to meet is the need to show that you have sufficient funds. You have enough money to ensure that both yourself and your family, if your family is going to be accompanying you to Canada, that you will be able to become what's called economically established in Canada. All right, so that's a requirement for persons who are coming as permanent residents. And so in this video, we're going to be starting out by showing you why it's necessary for you to show this proof. And also we're going to be talking about the types of supporting documentation that you may include with your application when you are coming to Canada as a permanent resident. And so the primary purpose, the main reason why this is necessary is Canada's Immigration Act, or the regulations, the Immigration and Refugee regulations, state that if you're applying for permanent residency under one of the economic streams, the skilled worker program, so if you're applying under the federal skilled worker program or you're applying under the federal skills trades program, then you will need to meet the following criteria, okay? One of the listed criteria is that you must have, in the form of transferable and available funds, okay? You must have money that is available to you, that is not debt, that is not tied up by other obligations. That money must be available to you and your family, and it must be in the amount that is equal to a half of the minimum necessary income, and we'll get to that. But the bottom line is that you need to show that you can become economically established in Canada. That's important. And in order for you to prove to the authorities that you can become economically established, you need to provide evidence that you have transferable funds available to you. And the amount of money you have must, in essence, be equal to half of the minimum necessary income. Now, the government has made it pretty easy for you to understand how much money exactly you would need if you were coming to Canada, whether individually or as a family. And so if you see here, somebody coming alone is going to be required to show that they have at least 13,000 Canadian dollars. All right, so that's how much money you need to show. Remember, this is money that you will need to show to the authorities that you have and that you will be able to use to take care of yourself and or your family while you're here in Canada. So this isn't money that you will need to give to the government or anything like that. No, this is your money that you will need to take with you to Canada to take care of your living expenses and so on. The government wants to know that you won't end up relying on the government for any kind of financial or social support the moment you land here. Okay, so this is your way of saying to the government that we have sufficient money, we meaning myself and my family, we have sufficient money to take care of ourselves while we remain here inside Canada. Okay, so again, if you are coming alone, you're looking at $13,000. If you're a couple, then you're looking at just over 16,000 Canadian dollars. All right, and these figures are equivalent to 50% of what the government refers to as the minimum necessary income. So we won't go into the whole minimum necessary income. You just need to be alert to these figures, and you can always find this on the government's website, the Immigration and Refugee website. This information is here. And so you can see, again, depending on the size of your family, the amount you require is going to increase. And so if you have a very large family of 7 members, and remember, a family, the definition of a family here is very specific to spouses. Spouses and dependent children. And dependent children are children who are under 22 years of age. So that's the family that's being defined here. So if in this case, if we have 2 parents and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 children, totaling 7, then you are going to be looking at a grand total of just under $35,000. So that's how much money you're going to be required to show that you have in your possession. All right. Now, let's look quickly at who needs to show that they have sufficient funds. Well, again, if you're applying for permanent residency, this is going to be a requirement. However, there are persons who may apply for Canadian permanent residency from inside Canada, right? So people who are inside Canada working on work permits, for instance, may apply for permanent residency under the Canadian Experience class. Persons applying on the Canadian Experience class do not need to show that they have proof of funds. So really, the 2 groups that need to show it are persons applying under the Federal Skilled Worker Program and persons applying under the Federal Skills Trades Program. Okay, generally speaking, those persons need to show proof of funds. And of course, persons who are applying under most of the provincial programs as well, who are not yet in Canada, they too need to show proof of funds as well. Okay, so in terms of who does not need to show proof of funds, again, persons applying under the Canadian Experience class, that is persons who are already here in Canada working on work permits and who are now applying for permanent residency, they do not have to show proof of funds. In addition, somebody who is authorized to work in Canada, meaning somebody who has a work permit and who also has a job offer from a Canadian employer, that person does not need to show proof of funds when they're applying for permanent residency, because they're already here inside Canada, they're earning an income, and therefore that shows that they're going to be able to take care of themselves and become economically established here once they become permanent residents. All right, so those are the exemptions, the persons who do not require it. And of course, we touched on how much money you need, and we touched on who would need it. We're talking about the family, and that includes the spouses and the dependent children. Now, lastly, we want to do a quick look at what kinds of supporting documentation you can include in your application to prove that you have the money, right? Can you go ahead and borrow the money from a relative and include that as proof of funds? No, you cannot. You must show that the money you have is your money that is unencumbered, that is not tied up. It must be your money. All right. And so you will have to provide some kind of supporting documentation from your bank showing that you have this money, and that there's a history of you having had this money. All right, and this information must come on the bank's official letterhead. You must get official letters from the banks or other financial institutions where you're keeping your money. And the immigration authorities just want to ensure that the documentation you're providing is authentic, is legitimate, and it's reflective of your true of the funds that are truly available to you. You will have to list outstanding debts and credit card debts and so on in order to allow them to truly understand what your real net worth is and how much money you have, real money you have at your disposal. All right. So there you have it. the rules around proof of funds, the requirements around the need to show proof of funds, who needs to show proof of funds, who does not need to show proof of funds when applying for Canadian permanent residency. So I trust you found value from this video, and as always, remember to like our videos so other people may see more videos like these. Subscribe to our channel so that you may get more videos when we publish, and check us out on our website at go.gooselaw.com. Thanks so much for joining us. See you again next time.